Now, we're all in hotel rooms all across the globe, and I don't know what the delay's like. First person to put their hands up gets his talk first about Portugal's 3-0 win. Go. Jules was first. Sam didn't even bother. He's backside. What did you see, Jules? How impressive were Portugal or how poor were Turkey? What do you make?
I just thought that now that Roberto Martinez doesn't do any nonsense with his tactics, inventing positions for some players, making things far more difficult than he needs to. Hey, look at them. They're suddenly good, much better than what we saw in the first game where they got really lucky and they got away with one, let's be honest here. Today was very different against a better team. And yes, they got a bit lucky on the second goal, especially even the first one with the deflection on the cross to a certain extent. But it was a much more convincing performance. And certainly the balance of this team, the structure, basically all the things that we didn't see in the first game was there today. So far more encouraging. And again, Roberto, we told you before, just keep things simple. Your team is that good that you don't need to complicate things.
Sam, I think I saw something which I haven't seen very often. Cristiano Ronaldo passing the ball when he had a chance to score, and it meant a tap-in for Bruno Fernandes. What did that make you think of? Portugal, a team now?
Well, like Jules says, yeah, they were much more balanced today. I think taking Delort out the side and putting in an extra midfield, obviously Palhinha alongside Vitinha in the first half, and then Ruben Neves in the second half made a huge difference. So yeah, that's obviously the first thing. And then yeah, the goal, of course, Ronaldo passing. Maybe I kind of thought the same thing. Maybe I'm being disingenuous towards Ronaldo here, but at first I thought he probably thought he was maybe offside, so I'll do a little pass anyway, and then it won't count. And then also I've just seen afterwards that he now has the record for goals, 14, but he now also has the record for assists, 8. Maybe that was in the back of his mind as well, to have the assist record as well as the goal record, or maybe he was just being a good teammate, and this is a Portugal team that's going to click into gear as the tournament goes on. Who knows?
Now, the reason I said it like that was because maybe 5 minutes before, there was a role reversal. Bruno had the ball, didn't pass it to Cristiano when maybe he was in a better position. And of course, Cristiano took the huff because he didn't get a pass, which led to the own goal. And then he turned around and said, oh yeah, it's a goal, fantastic. Turkey weren't great, but I love the tempo of this game, LME, and I thought Portugal were really good today.
Yeah, Portugal were really good. I echo what the boys are talking about. It's a little bit of a misleading game to me, because the moment the second goal came in, that horrific own goal, I felt that Turkey's sort of not momentum, but their confidence in getting anything out of this game just fell flat. And Portugal just, decided to just keep it simple. Like Jules said, Roberto Martinez now knows not to overcomplicate things. Portugal have a really nice balance too, right? On the left-hand side, Nuno Mendes and Rafa Leao. But now you have the experience of 41-year-old Pepe at the back, with Ronaldo up top too, but also Vitinha, who's just wonderful to watch as well. And they just keep the ball, and they make it difficult for everybody else. And then the third goal, was also a mistake, right? So you could just tell that psychologically, Turkey were just like, they fell flat. So to me, I think that it was a good performance. There's a reason why Portugal remain high in the power rankings, but I want to see now what Portugal do against really good teams. And that's where might just see the real Roberto Martinez. Will you stand up? We'll have to find out and see.
If we'd had a 35-second answer from you then, I was told not to go to Jules because he had someone at his hotel room door. I would have gone to him anyway. Who was at the door?
It was, the room service in the evening. They bring you water. I mean, in a posh hotel. I'm not sure about you in Stuttgart or Sam, wherever he is. But for me, yeah, so that was it. I just didn't time this well.
But where's your little do not disturb sign?
I know, but
right?
I'd forgotten completely. I'm
sure
it was great. It was long, but I'm sure it was great because I didn't.
Was that a turn down service, Jules? Because you're used to that, staying at these fancy 5-star Ritz hotels. There's no denial, Sam, is there? There's no denial.
If you know, you know.
You do. You do. We're meant to be talking Portugal against Turkey. I've managed to get several Scotland references in so far, of course. But the Portuguese fans and the Turkish fans, Sam, what an atmosphere they created. And just listening to some of the TV beforehand and the radio, seemed to be a lot more Turks there, but they didn't have too much to shout about Turkey. How disappointed were you today with them?
Yeah, obviously Turkey have got a massive support here in Germany. We saw it in the first game against Georgia, and then again today. I think they outnumbered, from what I saw on television, what I've seen on social media. It seems that they once again outnumbered the Portuguese fans. Obviously not the same result today, but they got that win first time, so they're still in a good position. Really, it sets up a fascinating game against Czechia. I think I think from the start it was a little bit disappointing. I know Arda Güler is obviously still very young, and it's not really his Turkey team yet. But I think we were obviously so enamoured with his first goal and his end of the season at Real Madrid. It would have been nice to see him fit enough to start, but he did come on, so perhaps that's a good sign for their final game, when obviously they need to get sort of at least a point against Czechia to reach the knockout rounds. A little bit disappointing today, but like the things that LME said, the game sort of slipped away from them with cheap goals, really. It wasn't Portugal didn't have to work too hard for the goals. Obviously, they didn't clear the cross, and it landed for Bernardo Silva with the first one, the own goal, and then from there it's very, very hard for them to do anything. So yeah, I mean, Portugal game was always going to be difficult for them. If Güler's fit, they've got a lot to play for in that final game, haven't they, against Czechia? A draw would probably will be enough for them to go through.
It's weird right now, LME, because there are several nations that might get through on 2 points, but some that still aren't guaranteed to get through on 3 points. And this is a group, I suppose it was helped earlier in the day with the opening game draw, but Portugal are sitting pretty. Turkey aren't in a bad position either, though, are they? They've now played Portugal. They got their opening day win against Georgia. Do you expect these two to be the top two to go through in this group?
I don't know. It's hard because the emotional side of me really is pushing for Georgia here. They have given us 2 great performances. I know we're going to talk about them in a little bit, but like you said, this is a tricky group. But yes, Portugal obviously I think will come away with it, and I think Turkey will probably look back at this and think, we shot ourselves in the foot twice here against a very good team. If we can nullify silly errors, silly mistakes, then we should be able to take care of Czechia and really get that second spot. But the thing about Portugal is that they're so deep, right? I mean, when you can put on Nelson Semedo, João Neves, Pedro Neto, Antonio Silva, I mean, you really should be winning this group. So once again, to me, it's about what you do when you come out of this. But yeah, I think Turkey should have enough. They should be able to rectify the mistakes that they did today and go through. But emotionally, I'm rooting for Georgia. I mean, their fans have been amazing, and they have really given us a lot to watch as well.
So this was a better performance by Portugal than in their opening win over the Czechs. So from what you've seen so far, forget the type of players that they have, just purely based on how good a performance has been. Where would you put Portugal? Are they up there because of today on the balance of evidence over the 2 games, or do they still have a point to prove because of the manager that they have?
Yeah, I think you're right with the end of that question. For me, still Roberto Martinez. I'm not sure really if he can how far he can take this team, because he's capable, as we saw in the first game, to just mess things up for no reason. So I'm not sure, and I agree with LME in the sense that there would be games far tougher than even today, where Turkey, as we say, gifted them some goals, was without one of their best players in Arda Güler. So there's a lot of also reason why they played well, but also why they won so comfortably. It would be different from the last 16 onwards. I think they are still below Germany and Spain from what we saw. France is a little bit different because of the way they've played so far. They're very happy with the performances. We can look at it with the glass half empty and saying, well, they should have done better, but they are where they wanted to be anyway. So I think they're up there as well with Spain and Germany, and maybe Portugal just a little bit below. But that's the 4 that we had at the start of the tournament anyway for most of us. So again, there's no surprise there.
Sam, who's more confident? Fans of England, fans of Germany, fans of France, or fans of Portugal right now, as well as fans of Spain? Who's the kind of cock of the north right now based on what we've seen so far?
Well, definitely not England, I don't think. Spain's an interesting one because there's sort of a growing sort of confidence. I mean, Luis de la Fuente, obviously, he's the coach. He says that there's no one better than us when we play our football and we're at our strongest, and they're obviously very good against Italy. But there's still the feeling that you wouldn't put all your money on Spain for as good as they've been, and they probably have, for me, been the best team in the tournament over the 2 games so far. The performance against Italy was certainly the best performance I've seen in the tournament so far. Germany have that home factor, so I think they're confident as well, and France probably as well, and then probably Portugal 4th. I mean, it's what Jules said. I think England are the ones who've been majorly dropped off so far in the tournament. Spain are probably the ones who have grown the most, perhaps followed by Germany. And France are an interesting one because if we're looking at performances and results, perhaps maybe Portugal are a little bit ahead of France. They obviously came back in the first game and showed steel despite not playing well, and then had a big win today. But I just think France have a little bit in their favour in terms of recent tournaments, and and the Deschamps and stuff. They've got pedigree in these finals, and they've not always sort of glittered from the start in every game, and they've managed to sort of come through. So I think that sort of counts in their favour a little bit.
Final word on this group, LME. You want to talk Turkey, or Turkiye, as they now want to be called, because they don't want to be compared to a bird, according to the UN discussion that they had in 2022. But we'll not go there. We'll leave that for Derek Ray to answer all the angry responses that he got to his tweet earlier. It's interesting now, because if they win their final game, the Czechs, against the Turks, the Czechs would go through as second place. Now, Turkey might go through in third with 3 points, or might not go through with 3 points. So, advantage who? Are we going to see Turkey that we saw against Georgia, one of the games of the tournament? Are we going to see that performance? And they laid an egg against when they play the Czechs in the next game.
I think advantage, just for the pure basis of who they're playing against, I think it's advantage Turkey, because from what I said earlier, today was not a good performance, but they were horrible mistakes that really should not happen again. Like that own goal should just not happen again. If it does, you don't deserve to be anywhere near the knockout stages. And the second goal, the Ronaldo assist to Bruno Fernandes, that was also a double mistake as well. Playing Ronaldo on side and then slipping twice from two defenders, allowing Ronaldo and Fernandes to score. That also was a mistake. So the hope for Turkish fans is that that's not going to happen, in the last game. Now, Czechia, they made about 12 attempts without scoring. I think that's the first time in almost like 3 decades where a team has made that many attempts. I mean, obviously, it took a fantastic performance from the Georgia goalkeeper to deny that. But I think that Czechia will be tough, will be resilient, and they will try and continue going on their game plan. I have to believe from a Turkish perspective that they can do much better than what they did today. So I think that advantage is Turkey.
By the way, when you look at the goal scoring charts, I mean, whoever's backed own goals to be the top scorer this tournament, you could just go at the bookies now and just cash in. So normally when Todd
Bowley's gonna offer about 500 million for Mr. Ryan.